What's up, guys? Adapark here, and today, as promised, I want to sit down for a few minutes and share with you guys some of my thoughts on what it takes for you to have a guild that goes from this mediocre, generic, okay guild to one that is fun for you and your guild members to log into, one that you as a player in this game are having fun being a part of, and one that you want to stay a part of for a very long time. Now, two things before we get started on this list. One is, by no means is this a complete list. There are a million different variables, a million different factors. There's a ton of criteria that really fits specific sets of guilds. A raiding guild needs this. A leveling guild needs this. A social guild needs that. Whatever. This list is a very generic list. And the second thing is, if I've forgotten anything, if there's anything that you guys value when it comes to your guild, by all means, throw them in the comments down below. Let's get some discussion on what are the things that you like that maybe I missed, I didn't think about when you are in a guild. If you're looking for a guild, what attributes, what traits do you enjoy about your current guild? So the first assumption here is that you have found a guild that is right for you. We've talked about this several months ago, that you as a player in this game, regardless of what you want to do, regardless of whether you want to be hardcore pushing hour upon hour in mythic content to clear it, or you just want a fun social guild where you can level a whole bunch of alts, you can farm some trade materials, you can play the auction house and talk to people. You need to find first and foremost a guild that is right for that need that you have within this game. If you have not found it, leave. Find a new guild. You are not in the right spot before we even get to this list. However, if you are in a situation where you go, look, the guild that I'm currently in, regardless of whether I am the new guy or the guild leader, or probably somewhere in between, this is the guild that I really want to see flourish. This is a guild that I really enjoy being a part of, and I want to be a more active member of the guild. This is the list for you. So if those things are what you're looking for, be social. That is one of the things that is missing from the MMO and MMORPG, is being social. Remember that this guild is your friends. These are like-minded individuals. Get to know them. And some of the people in the guild will share with you their life story. They will tell you, from birth until their their present day, what they have going on and, all this stuff. Other people won't. I encourage you, be social to a degree. Don't push people. Don't try to be that guy that tries to get, personal information. Let your relationships and your friendships with the people in your guild naturally grow. But with that being said, make sure you're talking to people. Don't be the guy that logs in for raids, and then 10 minutes after the raid, you log out and you're not talking to anybody. You're missing a whole other side of your guild, of this game, that you could totally love being a part of. Even if you're not a social person in real life, there is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the one and only time I'll say this, there is a perk to being anonymous sitting behind a keyboard. And it's the same reason why people are assholes online, but people don't judge you. They're not going to judge you as, all these problems you have in real life. They're going to judge you for the person that you are, behind the keyboard. The person that they are seeing in game. Be social. That's a big part of this MMO thing. Do things with people. That's part of being social. Is, on off time, if you're in a raiding guild, on those off nights, run dungeons with people. Run Mythic Plus right now in Legion. Do transmog runs with people. Run some of the lower level guys through old content, old raids. Have fun with these guys. Do things. But at the same time, don't be a dick. Don't be that guy. And I've seen it. I will assume you guys have seen it, where hey, I'll run you through Ulduar, but if anything I want drops, you have to give it to me. Why? It's not that hard to level up. It's not that hard to clear Ulduar, within 45 minutes on a level 100 or level 110. It's probably even faster. Why do that? Don't be a dick. Don't be the guy that's I'm trying to say multiple things. That's just spewing. I was trying to say like splurting and spewing. Don't be that guy that's spewing out, the racist hate speech, the homophobic, the the sexist. Don't be that guy. If your guild is a guild that is okay with, I'll say, a little bit more adult content, a little bit more lenient on the racial slurs. Okay, that's one thing. And my guild is that way. We have some guys that do very frequently use certain words. I say, fuck fairly often within my guild. However, there is a line. There is absolutely a line, regardless of where you're at. Don't be that dick that spews out that hate speech, or because you have a certain person or people in your guild, regardless of what they are, what they choose their lifestyle to be. Don't be that dick that calls them out, just because you hate people because you're, ignorant and whatnot. Don't be that way. Help people out. If you notice that people need help, and this is especially true of raiding guilds, but this can most definitely be, even if you're not a hardcore raided guild, even if you're not even raiding, if you're raiding with a different group of people, help those that you can very obviously tell need help. If you notice as a DPSer, let's take the Boomkin for example. If there was another Boomkin in the raid and I looked at their rotation and I said, hey, here's what I would suggest doing. Help them out. If you are that top tier raider, if you're pulling those magical, high end numbers, reach out in a non-asshole way and a non-dickish way and talk to people. Hey, man, I looked at the logs last night, and do you want some help? Can we look at your rotation again? Look at my other video about asking, why. Talk to people. At the same time, though, conversely, if you are the one that needs help, reach out to those that are performing well. They obviously know what they're doing. Help each other out, and that goes far above and beyond simply, looking at logs and looking at rotations and whatnot. But if people need help with something, don't be the guy that goes, no, whatever, they'll figure it out, they'll get it done. No, reach out and help them. That's the whole point of a guild, is to help each other. You're a like-minded group of people with a common goal, and you need to push people to that goal. That is what a guild is. The next thing here is stock the guild bank. It is something that is very often forgotten about, is the guild bank. Especially if you are the guy that has a whole bunch of stuff. Let's say you have a whole bunch of time, you have a whole bunch of gold, and you're able to farm up mats. There are people out there that cannot farm mats. However, they may be able to, put something else into the guild bank, whatever it might be. I'm not saying, donate 110% of all your trade mats and everything that you make to the guild bank. However, if you know that your guild bank needs flasks for raiding, and I pick on raiding only because that's what I do. If you know that your guild bank does a lot of raiding and you need flasks, throw a couple of herbs in there. I'm not saying throw all of them in there, 10 of them, whatever. If you are in a guild that really enjoys role playing, throw some custom made, shirts and pants. I don't know, whatever you role players do. Figure out what your guild needs and donate it. But at the same time, conversely, once again, don't be that jerk that takes from the guild bank just because it's out there. Just because you aren't able to do what everybody else is able to do. If you're not able to farm mats, if you're not able to buy potions, buy flasks, that doesn't mean that you get to freely steal from the guild bank. You need to donate as well. Whether that is gold, whether that is something, you need to figure it out. You should be putting in your equal share into that bank. Again, you guys are like-minded. Don't be the weak link that is just taking, and being lazy about it. Remember that as a guild, and I've said this before and I will say this again, a guild is a like-minded group of people with a common goal. We want to kill, mythic Xavius. We want to level up to 110. We want to be super role-playing, whatever. if you see that you have guild members that are following that common goal and they need something, they need gear, they need whatever, they should be receiving perks that come along with that. I talked about it in the BOE BOE video about, I had several guild members that had picked up some BOE items. Some of them were hardcore raiders, others were not. And I was very disappointed in the fact that the hardcore raiders, especially one of my former officers, which again, we talked about him in a previous video, they sold it on the auction house when we were in that process of gearing up. Right now, who cares? Sell it on the auction house. But, that first week that Legion came out and people really needed the gear, and it may have been the difference between us killing, Xavius tonight rather than, a week ago, whatever. Don't screw your guild members over. Don't screw people over. In fact, help them out. Again, help them out by giving them discounts, giving them free gear. Gear comes. That's one of the mottos as a raid leader and as a guy who gives out loot, the loot master within the raids, is gear comes. If it doesn't show up this week, if you don't get it this week, you'll probably get it next week. The next thing is help recruit. You should know, or at least ask, what your guild needs. Does your guild need tanks, healers, in general, more people? What does your guild know? Or what does your guild need? You should know, and you should be looking for that. It doesn't matter if you are, a raider that has been in the guild for a month, or you're an officer that's been in the guild for 10 years. You can still recruit. If you are, in that low guy in the totem pole, you can point him in the right direction. Hey, we need X class. Oh, you want to join the guild? Well, I'm new here as well. I really enjoy it. You should talk to this officer. You should talk to the guild leader. Easy enough. Get word out there. Remember, once again, and I'll say it for the last time here, a guild is a like-minded group of people with a common goal. Make sure you are part of that like-minded group and that you are pushing yourself and everyone else within that group to that goal. Whether it's role-playing, whether it's raiding, whether it's mythic dungeons, whether it's leveling up, make sure you are helping and pushing each other to that goal. With that being said, guys, hopefully you guys like the content that I splurted out here. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Both of those things encourage me a great deal to continue to make the content that you see here. If you guys have anything you want to discuss in the comments below, anything that I missed, or even some ideas for future episodes or future videos, I want to really say episodes here, please, by all means, comments below. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.